player emerges into a forest, first goes down the path and finds a flower at the side of the road. As you can see, the flowers are highlighted with a prompt which pops up on the screen. This clearly shows that the flower is interactive, and the flowers also disappear once the player has interacted with them. The player then begins to interact with other objects such as mushrooms. You can clearly see in the top left hand corner where the object has been added to the inventory. The colours and art style of the UI always stays consistent throughout the game. It very rarely ever changes from this within Skyrim. Going further down the path, you realise that there is a lot of consistency with the UI on picking up different types of items. In the top left hand corner it will show a notification of adding to the inventory, and it will also show a physical change in the item. The player then approaches 3 pillars down the path. He then selects one of the pillars. Once one of the pillars has been selected, a notification box pops up onto the screen letting the player know what they are selecting and whether they want to go back. This is a good example of error prevention and shows that even though the player has selected this item, they are able to go back and select another. Once the stone has been selected, the stone glows blue and shoots a beam of light into the air. This shows the player that they have selected the item, and the game gives the player feedback to showing them they have completed this action. As the player heads down the path, he then begins to open the menu. From here you can interact with most things about your player and customize the player as you wish. He then proceeds to go to the map. From the map you can see all these different icons which appear on the map. Some are greyed out and some are white and black. The white and black ones have been made this way to show the player they are interactive. As the player continues through the menus, you can see how effortlessly it is to go to each different individual part of the menu, such as from the skill menu where you can see the player go through all of their different perks. Everything in the inventory has been especially laid out so that the most important things are at the top, such as weapons and armor, whereas less important things such as miscellaneous items are at the bottom. This is a good use of information hierarchy and laying out information on the screen in a good way. As the player has entered the city, he then begins to open his settings menu. From here the player can then change the difficulty, change the display, change the audio, change pretty much everything about the game to suit the player's needs. The player's needs could consist of, if they have hearing difficulty, changing the sound to suit them. If they are deaf, they could have subtitles on the screen so they can hear what characters are saying, what they're saying in and out of dialogue. You can also change the difficulty settings if you have difficulty with motor skills, to make the game a lot easier for people who may not necessarily have the ability